Can you do me a big favor right now? I really need you to do this. I need you to take my hand and kind of like start putting it from there. Go for it. Say the line. There's like so many people out there that are shouting it right now. My precious.
I don't know.
Look at the sun. Where's the sun? She say, hey, big guy, the sun's getting real low.
What is this from?
It's from Avengers. We just marathoned this.
And they're doing this?
Yeah, it's when he's hulking out. He's the Hulk, and he needs to turn back into Bruce Banner. So Black Widow takes his hand. And she's, hey, big guy, sun's getting real low. And then he goes back to Bruce Banner. Avengers, see it.
Promo.
Infertility brought to you by Disney's Avengers. Yeah, I don't think they want that. That's not why we're here. So I was checking my junk. So certified technicians were checking my junk, and so you're starving, so we should probably get you some food, and then let's find a nice little place to chill and talk. But while we're getting food,
Update.
why don't you give an update?
So, blood test results from the last round that we did came back that I ovulated, which is great.
Yay!
Whoop! Pause. Yeah.
I wanted to put our food order in the video, but Alicia was ashamed, so she paused it, and I didn't realize.
I was not ashamed. I just didn't think it was relevant.
Alicia was ashamed that I ordered one of everything on the menu. That's a good point, though. It's very irrelevant.
Yeah.
We ovulated.
Ovulated.
Well, you ovulated.
Yep.
I did my part.
Uh-huh.
Cheerleader.
Went and saw the fertility specialist that I had scheduled an appointment with a couple months ago. And pregnancy test came back negative, which is fine. It's just a good sign that ovulation happened. Like, we're kicking my body into gear. They did an internal ultrasound. Jamie got to see that. Got to see the inside of my uterus.
Yeah, it was very
enlightening.
It was very cool.
So they measured my endometrium, which was nice and thick back then because I hadn't started my cycle yet. I was like 2-3 days before I started. So it was nice and thick. He looked at both my ovaries, said, yep, they're both very cystic still. Still PCOS. He said the endometriosis is still present. He showed an image of my uterus, and there was like this little white squiggly line. And he goes, see, that's your uterus trying to move your endometriosis. It's just, the extra buildup of endometrium. And he goes, see, it looks like a worm. Not that you have worms. It's just really funny that he had to clarify. He's not saying that I have worms in my uterus. But it was kind of cool to see that my body is slowly trying to push out that extra endometrium and see how it works with endometriosis, that it's pushing it to wherever it can because it doesn't want it there. So started a new cycle, started on Femara. We did a higher dosage this time. We did 7.5 milligrams. We did cycle day 4 or 5 instead of 3. But we're going to do a trigger shot this time. So they're monitoring me. I go in for weekly ultrasounds. They're monitoring everything. We ordered the trigger shot and the progesterone suppositories. The previous one I was taking was oral. So yeah, we went in for our ultrasound today after starting the new cycle. Gotta pick up our food.
There's our healthy little salad.
Totally. So, went in for the ultrasound today to see how my body responded to the higher dosage of Femara. The nurse said that my endometrium is not as thick as they want it to be. I was just shy of 7 millimeters, and they like to see 8 or above. My ovaries, the follicles weren't quite the size that they wanted them. We just dropped off the prescription for dexamethasone, something. So we're gonna use that to see if we can get my ovaries to respond, plus add another round of Femara 7.5 milligrams for the next 5 days, and go back in for an ultrasound on Tuesday. But Jamie got a little party bag.
Yeah, we got a party bag. And I'm gonna tell you all about my party bag after we eat and find a nice little place to record. And I'm halfway in and halfway out of frame. You're welcome. I'm trying to drive. And I'm in the frame good, right?
Well, yeah.
I'm in the frame well?
I'm just kidding.
No, you're right. Superman does good. I'm doing well. So yeah, I wanted to talk about my fun bag. So I needed to do a sperm analysis because we needed to do a count and make sure everything was up for me and that we were doing good, as far as me, because I'd never had one before, so I didn't know. Maybe I'm sterile from all the hot baths I took, or from getting hit in the junk when I was playing sports.
Or when your brothers think it's funny, they just hit you in the junk and run.
That's a brothers thing. You play that game with your brothers. I don't know why.
No.
It's like, yeah.
That's like girls saying we're gonna hit you in the boob and run.
Boob shot.
We don't do that.
I'm not gonna throw anyone under the bus, but I've heard stories from girls that did the boob shot game. Boob shot, bomb. And then they fall down crying. Well, that's not why we're here. So I was checking my junk. So certified technicians were checking my junk, and everything came back normal. It was good. But what was fun is as we were going out the door, they said, okay, we'll send you with a fun bag.
Party bag.
Like, a party bag. It was send me with a party bag. It's like, ooh, I like the sound of party bag. It was a brown paper bag. And I was gonna open it here and show what was in it and everything, but I did that earlier. So cut to me opening my bag. So yeah, that was what was in my bag, and it was totally crazy. No, I mean, I was expecting all that fun, crazy stuff in there, but none of that was in there. It was just a cup with instructions. It was very not so much as a party as they made it out to be.
Very clinical.
Yeah, very, very, very clinical. But what I didn't realize is you have to get it there within a certain amount of time. You can't just show up. Who knew you couldn't show up to a clinic and drop off bodily fluid at any time you want? You had to call ahead of time, make an appointment, and schedule to drop your sample off. And I didn't realize this until the morning I was planning on going there with it. Then I was reading through the instructions, I was like, crap, I have to plan a time to do it, but it also can't be longer than an hour from when I put it in the cup to when they analyze it. So I had to like rush through this whole, and I mean, like, it wasn't hard to like, it wasn't hard to, it wasn't, it wasn't hard to fill the cup and then, well, not fill the cup, it was a pretty big cup. It wasn't hard to provide the materials needed that I knocked that out in 45 seconds or less if I needed. No, so it was mostly trying to time it, and then they also said you have to keep it warm because it has to stay at body temperature, which makes sense. I'm thinking, okay, so they recommend keeping it in a pocket. or wrapping it in a sweater. And I'm like, I don't want to wrap a sweater around and then be the guy who's walking in like holding a sweater full of my sample. They always refer to it as the sample. So, I awkwardly called and scheduled the time, and it was kind of a fun, crazy experience. But I, anyways, took it over, got it dropped off in plenty of time, kept it right in my little pocket close to me, and I just, cuddled my little sample and drove it there and got it there within the hour, and they got it tested and everything came back normal, and I'm grateful for that, because I started to worry about it a little bit. But one thing during all the party bag experience, one thing we came across in one of our support group type deals was a guy had posted and mentioned how guys don't talk about it, that there's not really much support for men.
Yeah, he was just saying how anytime he tries to talk to other guys about it, that he knows are going through fertility treatments, whether it's woman, man, or both that are needing the help. He said that they don't talk about it, and they kind of just shrug it off as the woman's burden. It's her deal. It's what she's going through, and they just don't talk about it. It's almost like it's, what's that called? I always call it voodoo. Taboo.
Yeah, like it's a taboo subject with men.
Yeah, or like it's almost like it's an ego thing that like, no, nothing's wrong with me, and I'm not going through this.
Yeah.
I'm not having a problem, it's her. And even if they are the problem, it's like, well, whatever. Like,
and I didn't like that. That didn't resonate well with me. That shouldn't be the case, because it's not your burden, it's not your problem. It can't just be all pushed off on the woman, because that's way too much pressure on you, and that's way too much for you to deal with on your own. Like, it might be physically happening to you, but it affects us, because it's, your hormones that are being thrown out of whack, and so you're going from happy to sad, and you don't know why, and being there for you emotionally. Like, it's, I want to be there for you emotionally, and help pick you up, and for those crazy happy highs as well, they're there, and the crazy lows. And so that's something that affects us. But it financially affects us. It's not easy on me to watch you go through this. Yeah, watching you go through it and struggle with it, that's hard on me. Did I already say financially? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, emotionally, financially.
Financially, it's fine.
But most of all, physically, I'm really concerned about getting the shots going, because I'm not excited to have to start sticking you with a needle.
You're gonna start shooting me up with drugs. We're gonna be buddies.
Yeah, get that baby in there.
Just kidding, it goes here.
Oh, get the baby in there too. No, but I mean, that affects me. And watching you go through the physical pain, the physical issues, and it's, we need to be able to talk about it. There needs to be less like, oh, men are just macho and they don't talk about the feelings. They don't talk about the fact that I'm frustrated, that it's hard to get pregnant. There's times where I just want to give up. I don't want to do this. Like, this is more effort than it's worth to have a kid. And I say that. I'm so lucky that my best friend is so supportive with us, because he is. I've said that when I was like, this isn't worth it. I don't want to do it. And he always stops me. And, yes, you do. And you guys are going to be the best parents. It's good to talk to someone about it. And I'm really fortunate that we're so close, because I can talk about the emotion with him. I can talk about the issues and not feel.
It helps that he's gay too.
Well, I mean, it helps that we've been friends for 47 years, But
I feel like gay men are more open to talking about that because of the emotional stress that they've been through before.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because they know what it's like to be frustrated and to go through a struggle and not have emotional support. And like, I just feel like they're a lot more supportive emotionally that way because of what they've gone through.
Sure. Yeah. That's probably a lot to it. But if I didn't have that, it would probably cause more fights among us and arguments and disputes, just because what I mean by that is if I kept all that inside, that you can't just bottle that kind of stuff, because it comes out at the wrong times. You start lashing out, you start saying things you don't, like if I just unfiltered said to you on a day you were down on a low that I don't even want to try anymore, this isn't worth it, like that could hit you the wrong way.
I would just probably cry more.
Yeah, and like that's not
And
cool
then go,
though.
okay.
Like, so
Well, we're still doing this, so.
I want to put it out there to all the guys out there. First of all, let me stand on a little bit of a soapbox here. Don't be ashamed or afraid to talk about this stuff. Don't be afraid or embarrassed to talk about your sample analysis. And it's okay if, you know, you have stuff you need to work on, or if that, don't let that affect your macho-ness, or you can still be a big, strong horse of a man and still, you know, lack in that area, because men are half the equation of getting this done. It doesn't have to all be putting pressure on just the woman. It doesn't have to be pushing it all over there just so, oh, it's my wife's problem. Don't let it become that. Be there for her, be open, and try to connect with other guys. So if you're a guy out there who's a TTC trying to conceive,
I'm so proud of you.
hit us up. Why? Because I know that, because there's actually a 3-letter acronym that I know what it stands for.
Yeah.
You become very familiar with that acronym when you're trying to get pregnant.
Or when you work in healthcare or your spouse does.
Oh boy,
There are so many
don't even
3-letter
get me
acronyms.
started on healthcare 3-letter acronyms. Look how gorgeous that is. We live in the prettiest place. A lot of people take Utah's beauty for granted. Earlier I said granite and she gave me a hard time, but it's true. Anyway, sorry, it was so pretty. The sun's setting, it's like, oh, it's so nice. I'm really glad we got out of the house to talk about this, because I feel like it's kind of openness for inviting open conversation, and be okay to talk about it. Don't feel like it's an embarrassing subject, or don't feel like, you know, you're letting your spouse down. And I mean, that goes for women as well. I'm not saying just men. I am saying talk about it.
That's the theme of these videos for trying to conceive.
Yeah.
Like every single video that we have, it's just communicate with each other. You're having a rough day? Okay, tell them. And I need you to help me through this. Like, I'm not telling you I'm having a rough day just because I need to tell someone. Like, I'm telling you because I need you. You need to tell them that. And tell them.
Hey, I need a little support. And here's why. You know, you don't need to dump on your significant other.
Or if you don't want to tell them why, have that conversation. If sometimes I just need your support, and sometimes I'm not going to tell you why.
How many times does that happen? Like, hey, I just want to sit on the couch. Let's just sit there. Let's cuddle, watch a show. I don't want to talk about it, but let's just be there.
Or my random cries.
Yeah, or I go to hug her and she starts crying. I'm like, I didn't think I was that bad of a hugger.
Like, do you want to talk about it? No, I don't want to talk about it. If I talk about it, it'll make me cry more. But that's okay. Maybe you need to cry. No! Yeah.
So,
Just talk about it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks for being there. And again, if you need the support, if you want to talk, we listen and then we talk back a lot, because that's what we do.
I talk back to you. Yeah, the sun's gonna set any minute now.
We're gonna go enjoy the rest of the beautiful sunset, and then we'll see ya next time. I knocked that out in 45 seconds or less if I needed. Not that I ever. Now a lot of people around.
Now everybody's gonna think you're
Everybody
one
feels
pump
bad
chum.
for you now. They're like, oh no, that poor woman, for many reasons. But now I thought at least maybe he was good in the sack.